morning. I'll be talking to you about nuclear weapons. The damage of a nuclear weapon is measured in millions of dollars, but specifically, it is important to remember, it's important to remember that millions of lives would be lost if it were to impact a major city. A nuclear weapon is a device that uses nuclear reaction to create an explosion. Energy from atoms' nuclei are released during nuclear reaction and radioactive decay. We'll be looking at two different types of nuclear weapons, the first one being the atomic bomb, which takes the shape of an elongated or rounded torpedo, so you get an idea of what it looks like. But the isotope that makes it go boom is uranium-235. Two prime examples of this type of bomb is Little Man and Fat Man. Each one was dropped in the two Japanese cities by the United States. Little Man on Hiroshima and Fat Man on Nagasaki. This was in 1945, and each one had a capacity of 13 to 18 kilotons and 21 kilotons, respectively. In order for these bombs to work, it needs about 4 to 5 nuclear masses within it, and it must have an 80% content of this or more of this isotope to cause the max explosion. The hydrogen bomb, on the other hand, energy is released due to thermal fusion, and it has no power limitation, which is something scary to think about. A good example of this type of bomb is the SAR bomb, which has the power of 58.6 megatons. It contains a detonator, which causes a thermonuclear reaction, right? And this is one of the main differences between the atomic and the nuclear bomb. As we can see the hydrogen bomb off to the right. Um, so the primary stage, as we can see, um, it triggers a secondary fusion explosion in the bomb or warhead. And now if we look at the atomic bomb, it is a gun-type fission device. It fires a mass of uranium into another to create a supercritical mass. In supercritical mass, as we can recall, it is when an isotope finds itself in an unstable position, which makes it ideal for it to be disturbed, and uh, uh, this is when it releases. If it splits, it releases the amount of energy required for it to for an atomic bomb to be effective. Now let's look at the prime differences between a hydrogen bomb and an atomic bomb. As we can see, hydrogen bomb is immensely powerful compared to an atomic bomb, which is also very destructive. Um, the hydrogen bomb is more complex because it requires two types of nuclear reactions, fission and fusion, when the atomic bomb only requires fission. Then, as we can see, the different types of isotopes that make the bomb, and then the mechanism of each bomb, which is what we were describing just a few seconds ago. Now, that are released by these type of nuclear weapons, alpha, beta, and gamma, and those are in order of increased destructiveness. Alpha, not so much harm, even your clothes could protect you from it. Beta, which causes radiation burns and cataracts. And then gamma permeates almost anything but lead and concrete. And the effects of this type of radiation are sickness, cancer, and gene mutation. It is important to remember that the effects of nuclear bombs are catastrophic. This is why uh, we should be against them. Phase 1, anyone within the radius of the initial ball of plasma disappears. So imagine this happening within a few seconds, split seconds, this immense ball of plasma just obliterates everything that is in his path within a 2 kilometer radius. And along with this plasma ball, there's a huge flash of intense light that, if seen directly, will cause blindness for a few hours. Uh, Along with this flash, it carries heat, which causes light burns on anything within a certain radius. With which burns anything within a certain radius. I apologize. And this can be a radius of 13 kilometers. And phase two is a shock wave, which travels after the initial explosion, and this travels at the speed of sound with winds stronger than tornadoes. And this radius of impact can be up to kilometers, as you can see. The opportunity to be killed or hurt are many. This is just an example that I found through a really interesting website that allows you to see how much impact a certain type of nuclear weapon would have in a certain location. In this case, the location is New York, um, and that type of nuclear weapon is the hydrogen SAR bomb. And then you can see the number of fatalities. It's up to about 6.5 million people, and then the number of injuries, 3.9 million people. This is crazy of how much destruction one instance would cause. The radiation, it shows you the square mileage, the fireball, that reach of the fireball, the 43 square miles, and the shock wave of how much it would also impact in the heat wave. So all of these things that we've talked about, you can see how much it would impact. A picture of Hiroshima after the atomic bomb was detonated on it. It's horrible. And lastly, this concludes our presentation. It's just hopefully it gives you an insight of the power of an atomic bomb and the disaster it could cause. So we pray that this does not happen again in history. Thank you.